This podcast is for professional voice teachers to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want. I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur Podcast. Hey, voice teacher. Welcome back to another episode of the Voicepreneur Podcast. I feel like I need some sort of new way of starting these episodes, but I also feel like it's kind of nice to have familiarity. I don't know. We'll see how things roll. So this is a really interesting episode. I'm excited to talk about this because I'm about to debunk some things about our view on websites. And here's the thing. I want to just give a little disclaimer here in that this is the way I did it, right? This is how I did it. This is how I made $30,000 without having a website, but this is not necessarily the way. And, I think we always have to remind ourselves, and it's the same with singing, right? It's the same with teaching. It's the same with most things in life. There is no such thing as the way. There is no such thing as the only way. This is just a way. And if you are interested in this way, because maybe you are unfamiliar with tech, maybe you feel a little overwhelmed by it, maybe you outsource it, or maybe you are in that position where you're like, I feel like there's a way to make this easier. There is. And I kind of experimented with this whole, experiment in doing this without a website. But I will say that, man, now that I think back on it, I'm like, why do people focus so much on websites? Like, we're kind of obsessed with it. So much so that it ends up being one of the first things that we do when we are, let's say, putting a new offer out there or promoting something, or we want to do a little rebrand or anything like that. Usually the first place that we turn to is our website. Now, here's a question for you. Do you know what your conversion rates are on your website? So, for example, if you have ever sold, let's say, warm-up tracks and you have them on a shop on your website, what are the analytics on that? How is that doing? How is it converting? Or maybe voice lessons even. How is that converting? Although voice lessons are a little different because most people do end up looking at your website, and that is the way that you connect with people when you are finding people online. But I say that because when you are selling something that is a product or a program, typically, unless they know who you are and they have a relationship with you, they're on your email list, they follow you, they, know someone who knew you, whatever, they know who you are, they are way more likely to hop onto your website than a rando. Now, of course, we can get into Google, SEO, and analytics and all of that stuff. And, we can totally go down the rabbit hole with that. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, like for the person who is not going down that rabbit hole and you are focusing on your website, but, you're not focused on Facebook ads or anything like that, most people who are ending up on your website already know you or found you somewhere else. So we just want to keep that in mind when we are focusing on that. I encourage you to look at your data and to look to see how those conversion rates actually are looking for you. So, just always good to check in to make sure that the energy that we are putting into something is actually helping move the needle in our business. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about how I actually did this without a website, because I know you're like, okay, Allie, blah, 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 blah. Tell me the good stuff. Okay, so here's what I did. First and foremost, I had a baby. And I know that sounds random, but if you're a mama or if you, just empathize, you understand that having a baby changes everything about your life. And for me, it changed specifically my priority list and where I was spending my time. I got super focused, like hyper focused on what actually moves the needle in my business. And oftentimes that means doing the bare minimum that gets the biggest result. In fact, that's a really, really important thing to kind of soak into. Doing the bare minimum to get the biggest result. Now we can do the bare minimum, but then you will get a minimum result. What is the bare minimum that you could do that is actually going to give you the biggest result? So this is kind of what I was thinking about when I had a baby. So I thought a lot about a website, because what happened was I created the Voicepreneur program first before I actually created a brand or a website or a name even. I just got voice teachers together. I created a little beta program. It was really at the, kind of height of the pandemic. So it was very much a COVID influenced experience. And then at the end of that program, that's when I was like, wow, this is a brand. This is a business. I didn't really know that, but it is. This is the Voicepreneur. Hence the podcast and the program and yada, yada. Now, if you go onto the links inside of these show notes or any of the other show notes, or if you go onto the links on my Instagram bio, you will notice that I do not, still to this day, as I am currently recording this in July of 2022, I do not have a website. And I will. I have the domain. It is part of my plan. But that was not something that was the bare minimum that was going to get me the biggest result. Building a website is a big friggin' thing. So here's what I did instead. I used, drumroll please, Kajabi. If you know me, then you know that I was going to say that. So here is what Kajabi is. Kajabi is the only thing you really need to sell anything. So that includes email, landing pages, sales pages, products, programs, memberships. The list goes on. It really is all of it. And what's so cool about Kajabi that's different than a website is that by subscribing to it or signing up for it, you are essentially committing to creating something to sell. I'm not talking about private lessons when I say that. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about warm-up tracks or a program or a membership or a, retreat. I don't know, whatever you want, whatever the heck it is that you want. And if you need some ideas, go check out episode 8, where I share 5 creative ways that voice teachers can make money online. So that's what's really cool about Kajabi, is that it really kind of puts a little fire under your ass to be like, make the thing, sell the thing, do the thing, right? And of course, what's awesome about it is that it's all in one place. So here's the thing. You can absolutely do this process. And when I say this process, I'm talking specifically about the process I talk about in episode 17, where I share the only 3 things that you need to sell anything online. If you follow that process where you have a hosting platform and you have a checkout page and then you have an email marketing sequence, you don't need a website. And moreover, Kajabi does all of that. So little disclosure though about Kajabi. I'll be fully honest when I say it is not cheap. It is an investment for sure. I think the starting account or pro account, I don't remember the different ones, but I know it ranges from $150 to, I don't even know, $200+ a month. So it definitely is an investment, but let me give you a cost breakdown of what it would look like if you did not use Kajabi, and then you can compare the two. So let's say you don't want to have the Kajabi route and you already have a website that you're paying for. So I'll just give the example for this demonstration using Squarespace. Squarespace is $26 a month, I believe. Yeah, $26 a month for a business account. So let's say that you're paying $26 a month for your website right now. And then you want to have a checkout page and probably a landing or a sales page that goes with that checkout page, because that is kind of what entices people to buy the thing in the first place, is them landing on that page that talks about the actual product. So that means that you would go to a place like lead pages. Lead pages is leadpages.com, and that is their jam. They make those pages. I talk about it in episode 17, and that is $49 a month. And then you want to have your email marketing funnel strategy system set up where, you got your pre-launch, you got your post-launch. I mean, this is the most ideal world where when you sell something on, let's say your Instagram, you're not doing this whole back and forth thing with individuals. It's all scheduled. It's all automated. It's all done. You don't have to do anything. You never have to do anything because that would drive you insane. There's no way you could ever grow in that situation. So you have to have an email marketing platform, and that is where ConvertKit comes in. ConvertKit is $29 a month. And then finally, you need to have a hosting platform. And that hosting platform is where you actually host let's say it's a program. And I say a program because that is multimedia, and it typically has, more than 3 videos, warm-up tracks or sing-along tracks. It typically has PDFs, right? So if you have something like that, and it can be very minimal, it can be super minimal. It could be 3 videos and 3 warm-up tracks and 3 PDFs. But nonetheless, because it has multimedia, and because you need it to be a protected platform that not just anybody can get into, you need to have a hosting platform like Teachable. And Teachable is $29 a month. So I just picked, like standard, really good at what they do softwares, the basic plans for all of them. And if you add up that total, so $26 for Squarespace, $49 for lead pages, $29 for ConvertKit, and $29 for Teachable, that is going to come out to $133 a month. And if you do Kajabi, that is going to be $17 more for $150 a month. So yes, you are saving $17 a month. And that is definitely substantial. That is for sure a thing. So I'm not saying to not go that route. But if you don't want to manage a website and you just want to have it all in one place, you want to have the analytics, you want to be able to grow, because that to me is what Kajabi is all about, is it allows and encourages scalability, whereas jerry-rigging all these different platforms to interact with one another and be triggered by each other, that can get messy, right? It's like that onboarding process is clunky to have 4 different softwares to save $17. It just is. It is doable, but it is clunky. And that means it's not super scalable. So that is where my head was at when I was thinking about going back to doing the bare minimum that gets the biggest result. The bare minimum being, I want one platform. I want it to be as simple as possible, and I want it to grow with me. So I went with Kajabi, and I do not to this day have a website. Here's what I have instead. I have a landing page that takes people to a free training. That's my freebie, all about how to make passive income as a voice teacher. So maybe you have a freebie inside of your voice studio where you're getting people's name and email. And then I have that freebie linked up to my paid offers. So my program and my one-on-one coaching and all of that stuff, it's all intertwined automatically. I'm not doing any of this. I already did it so that I can continue selling with my landing page. That is how I made $30,000 without having a website. So I hope that kind of helps to hear this perspective that a website is not, it is not necessary to actually sell things and to run and grow and build your business if that is really what you're in it for. So just consider that. I do have a Kajabi affiliate link inside of the show notes, and I do encourage you to click on that link. It is something that all Kajabi users get too, so that's always fun when you can become an affiliate by using Kajabi. So anywho, you can use whatever you want. As I said before, that is just what I did. I want you to do whatever feels comfortable for you, but I hope that it helps to kind of hear the perspective of really creating a tech onboarding system and process that is helping you grow, that helps you actually make money, right? Always good to check in whether your website is actually doing that for you or not. All right, beautiful friend, speaking of not having a website, you know where to find those links. And if you don't, all you got to do is click on the show notes inside of this episode where you will see my exact process that I took you through in this episode. And of course, if it resonates with you, I would love for you to check out the training and connect with me on Instagram because it is just so awesome to get to know you. Truly, it really, really is. It's like my favorite thing ever. So I hope to connect with you there, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I look forward to catching you in the next episode. Take care.